How are you? Today our topic is about human memory. Have you ever played the memory game? The idea is that each player has to recount a list of the objects and add one more to the end. There are many variations, but the objects are all loosely related. I went to the market and bought a lemon, some orange bacon, or I went to the zoo and saw monkeys and lions and the tigers and so on. As the list grows, objects are missed out, are recalled in the wrong order, and so people are eliminated from the game. The winner is the person remaining at the end. Such games really on wrong order and the people estimated from the game. The winner of the person immediately. Such games are really on our ability to store and retrieve information. Even this is the job of our memory system. Indeed, such much of our everyday activity relies on memory as well as strongly all our factual knowledge. Our memories contains our knowledge of the action or prediction. It allows us to repeat action, to use language, and to use new information received by our senses. It also gives us our sense of identity by preserving information or past experience. But how does our memory work? How do we remember? List they generated us in the memory game. How do some people remember more than others? And what happens when we forget? In order to answer the questions such as these, we understand some of the capabilities and limitations of the human memory. Memory is the second part of the model and the human as an information processing system. However, as we know earlier, such as the division of the simplistic since as well as we shall memory is associated each level of the processing. Bearing this in mind, we will consider the way in which memory is structured and the activities that take place within the system. It is generally agreed that there are three types of memory or memory function sensory buffers: short-term term memory or working and long-term memory. In some disagreements as to whether these separate systems or the different functions of the same system. We will not concern ourselves there with the depths of the debate, which is discussed in the detail and widely, but with indicated evidence used by the both sides as we go along. For our purposes, it is sufficient to three separate types of the memory. These memories interact with information by proceeding and pass between memory stores. Sensory memory. The sensory memories act as a buffering for the stimulate receiving through the sensory memory exists for such for each sensory channel: economic memory for visual, eco memory for actual stimuli, and hepatic memory for touch. These memories constantly override by new information coming in on this channel. We can demonstrate the existence of the economic memory by moving a finger in front of the eye. Can you see it more than one places at once? The indicator of the precision of the image after the simulator have been removed. A similar effect is noticed widely and a fair work display where moving sparkles leaves a precision and information remains in economic memory very briefly in the order of the 1.5 seconds. Similarly, the existence of the eco memory is evidenced by our ability to the direction for which a sound originates. This is due to information being received by the both ears. However, since this information is received at different times, we must store the stimulation in the meantime. Economic memory allows buffering play of the informations. Have you ever had someone ask you question where you are reading, where you ask them to repeat the question only they realize that you know what was asked from all? This experience too is evidence for the equivalence memory. Information is passed from sensory memory in short-term memory by attempting their filtering stimuli it to only those which are interesting a given time. Attention is the concern of the mind on one out of the number of the computer stimuli on the thought. It is clear that we are able to focus our attention selectively, choosing to attend to one thing rather than other. This is to the limit capacity of the sensory mental processes. If we did not selectively attend to the stimuli communication into the sense overloaded, we can choose which stimuli to attend, the ability to switch the particular back noise, but we may choose to switch our attention to conversation around the background. If we hear our names mentally, information by sensory memory quickly a more permanent memory store overwrite and loss. Short-term memory. Short-term memory or working memory act as a scratch pad for the temporary recall of the information. It is used to store information. For example, calculate the multiply 35 multiply 6 in your head. They change the chances that you will done the calculation in the state 5 multiply 6, then 30 multiply 6, and added the result. We calculate 6 is equal to 2 multiply 3, 2 multiply 35 is 70, followed by the prescription. Short-term memory can be accessed rapidly in the order of 70 ms. However, it is also decay rapidly, meaning that information can only be held there temporarily in the order of the 200 ms. Short-term memory also has a limited capability. There are two basic methods for measuring memory capacity. The first involves determining the length of the sequence which can be remembered in order. The second allows item to freely recall in any order. Using the first measure, the average person can remember digits. This was established in the experiment by Miller. Try to look at the following sequence: 26539 7620853. Now write down and much of the sequence as you can remember. Did you get it all right? If not, how many digits could you remember? If you remember between 5 and 9 digits, your digit span is average. Now try the following series: 44113 to 458920. Now our topic going to be closed. We will meet in next video. Allah Hafiz.